Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Incrow. Today, we delve into one of the most secretive and heavily scrutinized countries in the world. North Korea. From its unique political regime to the strict laws governing its citizens, North Korea has stood out as an enigma on the global stage. Apparently, in this video we explore the intricacies of the North Korean regime, and the laws that shape the daily lives of its people, so stick around until the end, because you'll learn a lot of things you didn't know. The DMZ, or Demilitarized Zone, is a narrow strip of land that serves as a buffer zone between North Korea and South Korea. It is approximately 250 kilometers long, and 4 kilometers wide, and is one of the most fortified areas in the world. On the South Korean side of the DMZ, the House of Freedom is a 3-story building that serves as an observation point for visitors. From here, you can use binoculars to look at the North Korean side. On the North Korean side, there is the Peace Village, also known as Kijongdong. The village was built in the 1950s as a model village to showcase the North Korean way of life. It is filled with brightly painted buildings and amenities such as schools, hospitals, and a 160-meter-tall flagpole with a giant North Korean flag. However, many believe that the village is largely uninhabited, and used as a propaganda tool to showcase the country's prosperity. The lights in the village are said to be on a timer and there are no visible signs of human activity. The DMZ is a symbol of the tense relationship between North and South Korea. A heavily fortified area, it is a popular tourist destination, where visitors can learn about the history of the Korean War and the division of the Korean Peninsula. However, it is important to remember that the DMZ is still an active military zone, and visitors are required to follow strict rules and guidelines. North Korea, often referred to as the Hermit Kingdom, has a number of unique prohibitions and restrictions that set it apart from other countries. North Korea has banned the sale of Coca-Cola and other American products since 2015. This is part of their broader stance against Western influence. The North Korean government has legally mandated hairstyles for both men and women. There are strict guidelines on hair length and style, and citizens are not allowed to deviate from these regulations. There is also debate over whether citizens can get a haircut similar to that of North Korea's supreme leader, Kim Jong-un. North Korea tightly controls communication with the outside world. Citizens are not allowed to make international calls, and there are severe penalties for those who try to do so. Basketball has become surprisingly popular in North Korea, largely due to Kim Jong-un's love of the sport. The country even has its own rules for basketball that differ from international standards. North Korea's strict regulations and bans reflect the country's isolationist policies, and the government's desire to maintain control over its citizens. While some of these restrictions may seem unusual to outsiders, they are a reality of life for those living in North Korea. The North Korean government has a policy of holding the entire family accountable for crimes committed by one of its members. This policy, known as 3 generations of punishment, means that not only the person who committed the crime can be punished, but also their parents and children. This policy is intended to curb crime by instilling a strong sense of collective responsibility in families. In North Korea, traffic agents responsible for managing traffic flow and ensuring pedestrian safety are primarily young women. They usually wear white gloves and are stationed at major intersections and crossings. These traffic agents use hand signals and whistles to direct traffic and ensure the safe movement of vehicles and pedestrians through the streets. in recent years, North Korea has started introducing traffic lights in some areas. This has led to a reduction in the number of traffic agents on the streets, as the lights are now responsible for managing traffic flow. However, traffic agents still play an important role in areas where there are no road traffic signals are not working here. North Korea has only 4 television channels, and their programming is heavily centered around government propaganda and glorification of the country's leadership. Some programs include documentaries about the achievements of the ruling Kim family, news programs that praise the government, and historical dramas that portray North Korea as a prosperous and powerful state. North Korea has strict rules regarding dress and appearance. Western clothing and hairstyles are prohibited, and citizens must adhere to a specific set of guidelines regarding their appearance. For example, women are allowed only a limited number of hairstyles, while men must keep their hair short. North Korea has its own internet called Kwangmyong, which is separate from the global internet. Only a select group of people, including government officials, foreign residents, and some citizens, have access to the global internet through a tightly controlled network. The rest of the population can only access the internet, which is heavily censored and monitored by the government. Foreigners visiting North Korea are not allowed to use the local currency, the North Korean won. Instead, they have to use special promissory notes issued by the government. These notes can be exchanged for goods and services at designated locations, but are not accepted by all merchants. Elections and campaigning in North Korea. Elections in North Korea are largely seen as a formal event to demonstrate the unity of the people and the government. Citizens over the age of 17 are required to vote, but candidates are pre-selected by the authorities, and there is no real choice for voters. The only candidate on the ballot is usually a government nominee, and there is no option to vote against them. Despite this, the government often reports 100% voter turnout, with 100% voting in favor of a single candidate. The propaganda and personality cult surrounding North Korea's supreme leader, Kim Jong-un, is heavily promoted by the government. There is a strong public reaction to Kim Jong-un, with many expressing deep admiration and loyalty for him. The government uses propaganda to portray Kim Jong-un as a beloved and respected leader, and has strict rules on how he is portrayed in the media. Despite the propaganda that portrays North Korea as a prosperous and powerful state, the reality for many citizens is quite different. Poverty is widespread, and access to basic needs such as food and health is limited. Many citizens have struggled to survive as the government focuses on military spending and maintaining a facade of strength. Children in North Korea are often subjected to forced labor, and many work long hours in dangerous conditions to support their families. This violates the current Declaration of the Rights of the Child, which states that children have the right to be protected from economic exploitation and hazardous work. Foreigners visiting North Korea are subject to strict censorship when it comes to taking photos, and there are guidelines on what can and cannot be shown. The government closely monitors the activities of expats and has been known to confiscate cameras and delete photos that don't meet their guidelines. This censorship is designed to control the narrative and prevent any negative images from being shared with the outside world. North Korea's relations with other countries, such as Sweden, have resulted in significant debt. For example, in the 1970s, several Swedish companies looked to North Korea as a potential market for their products. Sweden became the first country to open an embassy in North Korea, and signed an agreement with the North Korean government to acquire 1,000 Volvo cars. However, North Korea did not pay for these cars, and Sweden owed 2.2 billion kroner, approximately €110 million. The deal is known as the biggest car theft in history. North Korea's nuclear capabilities pose a significant threat to the world. The country announced in 2005 that it was developing nuclear weapons, and in 2017 it conducted an underground test of a hydrogen bomb. North Korea's missile capabilities have also improved, with the Hwang-18 missile capable of carrying a warhead of up to 1.5 tons. Nuclear warhead, up to 15,000 kilometers away. This means that North Korea can attack any target on U.S. soil. North Korea's relations with other countries, such as Sweden, have resulted in significant debt. The country's nuclear capabilities pose a significant threat to the world, and have the potential for catastrophic consequences. It is imperative that the international community address these issues and work towards a peaceful solution. As we conclude our exploration of the North Korean regime and its laws, it is clear that this is a nation unlike any other. The unique blend of authoritarianism, isolationism, and state control creates a society that remains largely hidden from the outside world. We have only scratched the surface of the complex realities of life in North Korea. It is vital to continue to seek understanding and empathy for people living in these conditions. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If the video is good, press the like button. Hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to watch such videos daily. Also, don't forget to share this information with your friends. Have a nice day until you see a video like this.